It consists of a fish tank, water pump to move the water around the system, some sort of solids capturing device, and then a biological filter, which in this case is also our grow bed. Now, the way the water moves around these systems is pretty basic. It is picked up by the pump in the fish tank along with any solids created by the fish and is delivered into some sort of a filtration device. Now, in this little system here, I've included a bell siphon. What happens is the water level will rise until it initiates the siphon. Then all that water in the grow bed will then be dumped back down into the fish tank, allowing oxygen to get down into the bacteria that process the fish waste and also the roots of the plants. To follow the water flow in one of these systems, we'll start off in the sump tank. The pump picks up the water and delivers it to the fish tank, where obviously we have fish and some air stones to provide the fish with some dissolved oxygen. So the water entering the fish tank displaces some of the water and the fish waste from the bottom of the tank into a pipe arrangement called a solids lifting outlet, or SLO for short. The end of the pipe arrangement sits just above the base of the tank, creating a small gap which water and solids can exit the fish tank but prevents fish from escaping through to different parts of the system. At the top of the pipe you have a sideways sitting T-fitting that is connected to a pipe that runs out through the tank wall. So the water that exits the fish tank then runs into some sort of solids capture device like this radial flow settler. As the water velocity slows in the settler, bits of solid fish poop and what other waste drops slowly out of the water column and collects on the base of the filter. The clean water that exits the radial flow filter by gravity then flows out to the grow bed side of the system. This is where, again, you basically have a biofilter situation in the grow beds themselves. The bacteria will be oxidizing the ammonia produced by the fish, turning it into plant available nitrates, and the water cycles through the grow bed back down into the sump tank, where it is picked up by the pump, flows back through to the fish tank, creating a single loop. Now, this split flow or dual loop system does share the same component layout as the single loop, but where it differs is how the pump moves the water through the system. So we'll start off in the sump tank. To begin with, the line coming off the pump is fitted with either a T or a Y fitting, splitting the flow into two different loops, one for the fish or aquaculture side and the other for the grow bed or hydroponic side. Now, in the original Chop 2 configuration, the water was pumped to the fish tank, exited out through the solids lifting overflow and then back down into the sump. Now, many folks aren't too happy with running their system like this, because what it means is a lot of those solids and unprocessed ammonia will travel back into the sump tank, where they can be picked up again and then delivered back into the fish tank. So myself and a lot of other people have decided to add in the solids filter, just like in the single loop system, and also a biofiltration component before the water gets back to the sump tank. And once the water exits the biofilter, it's back in the sump to be pumped around the system again. Now, the second loop of water in the split flow aquaponic system runs out to the hydroponic or the plant growing side of the system. There at the grow bed, it is regulated by valves, which allows you to control the flow rate into each individual bed. Now, in this bed here, we've got our bell siphon. So once the bed fills up, it triggers the siphon event. The water flows down into the sump tank, where it's free to mingle with the other water and then be delivered to either loop of the system once more.